One of the producers that had a personal connection to Gordon Lightfoot is Daniel Lanois. The pair shared a special moment when he was inducted by Lightfoot into Canada's Walk of Fame. Take a look.
Well, how about this? I'm standing here with Gordon Lightfoot.
Just one of the moments that no doubt Daniel Lanois remembers, and he joins us now from Los Angeles. Thank you so much for making time for us today.
Oh, you're very welcome. I just rolled out of bed, so please excuse.
You know, well, we know with the time difference, it's a lot earlier there. I wanted to ask you, what were the first few thoughts that went through your mind when you heard that Gordon Lightfoot had passed?
When I heard the news, of course, I got past the sadness of it, and I started celebrating the fact that I had a great time with Gord at the Harvest Festival on the outskirts of Hamilton a few years back, when Gord saved the day when Neil Young couldn't make the show because one of his guitar players had an accident. So we called Gord to see if he would come in and help us out, and he did. It was very sweet of him, and it was trouble-free, and it was the most beautiful delivery of a collection of his songs. And he graced the night with his presence, and as I heard a minute ago, all those wonderful Canadian tales were wrapped up in that one set. And I felt really privileged to be standing stage side and listening to him. But the sadness goes away when I think of the music and the beauty of that night.
You know, looking back at that video clip that we got to see of him honoring you in 2005, and your line was, "How about this? I'm standing here with Gordon Lightfoot." I'm wondering, when you look back at him, what stands out to you about how iconic he is? I mean, it's so apparent how struck you were just to be there next to him on that stage.
Well, what stands out really is his devotion to writing, songwriting. And I wish I had his kind of discipline to put into songs. You know, I do so many things. I produce records and I do a lot of different things. And sometimes I feel that I spread myself so thin that the song part of me is not quite getting as much attention as it should. So when you're hanging out with Gordy, it's like, okay, now I know the way. So there's a lot that happens by proximity. And as I said a little bit earlier to a friend, if you get close enough to Gord and you hang around long enough, then you become a better songwriter.
You know, Daniel, of course, you've worked with so many artists. You've produced albums with Bob Dylan, Neil Young, Peter Gabriel, you know, just to name a few. Wondering what you felt made Gordon Lightfoot so unique.
Well, I think Gord had, in regards to the artists you just mentioned, I think there's an alignment there. Obviously with Dylan being a wordsmith, and Dylan and Gord coming up through the same era when we didn't have a lot of technology to lean on. And so the travels were very important, and they collected songs as they went along the way. They all had a little Jack Kerouac in them. And in modern times, we have a little less of that rambling troubadour. And so I think to say that Gord was one of the great traveling troubadour writers is pretty accurate. So what an incredible large body of work. And I'll say it one more time, maybe not now that Gord is gone, I have to fill his shoes to a degree, and I'll just pack my little hobo bag and hit the road and start writing more songs. Thanks, Gord.
And that's a beautiful way to, of course, pay tribute. And we know so many people are doing that today, listening to his music and reflecting on the lyrics that so many people say really struck a chord with them as they listen to his songs. I'm wondering also, in terms of his tribute, Gordon Lightfoot's tribute to Canada. He stayed here. He would write about the country in his songs. How unique is that for an artist of his stature, too?
Well, it's really just sticking to a story. You know, I touch on a little bit of that myself, and my first album was really largely about personal Canadian stories and family. And so I think he just never strayed from what he loved the most, you know, and what inspired him the most. You don't have to travel the world to write the songs that are dearest to your heart. And I think he just trusted that his instinct was right in the beginning, and he stuck with it all along.
And finally, I wanted to ask you, there's likely a generation who don't even know when they're listening to songs that it originated from Gordon Lightfoot, that either he wrote it or it's a cover of his original music or what have you. What's your message to artists coming forward when you reflect on the legacy that Gordon Lightfoot has left behind?
Well, we're never going to be able to repeat what Gordon went through or what that era had to offer. And so what advice do we give to folks who are getting started into all this? Passion is everything. Follow your heart and write what you believe in. I hear it in rap music. I hear it in country music. I hear it in all kinds of music. And so the genre does not dictate who you are. I think it's good to go to the genre and say, let me tell you what it's all about.
Daniel, I very much appreciate your time today in discussing Gordon Lightfoot. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. So make sure you get my good side now. I think that's it.
Thank you. That is Daniel Lanois. He's a Canadian award-winning musician and producer. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you.